I call to order the February 3rd meeting of 2025 for the Adrian City Commission. If everyone would please rise for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Heath,
Present.
Commissioner Banky,
Present.
Commissioner Miller,
Present.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Present.
Commissioner Roberts,
Present.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Present.
and Commissioner Gauss.
Present.
All commission members present.
At this time, we will have public comment regarding items on the agenda. We will start inside the city chambers first and then open it up to the Zoom participants after that. Just to reiterate that you need to state your name and your place of residence and that you have a 3-minute time limit. And this is a time for you to comment. It is not a dialogue time. So the commissioners and myself will not respond. It is a time for us to listen to your public comment. We'll begin now.
I'm Don Taylor. I'm a resident of the city of Adrian. I'd like to address the R25006. I'm disappointed that you did not provide the terms of the tentative retirement agreement between Administrator Elliott and the city in this evening's commission packet. As I recall, and I may not recollect everything perfectly, the terms of his employment contract when appointed administrator were public knowledge. Once again, I find a lack of transparency on your part. If this is a human resource issue, then I apologize for bringing this up. But of course, a citizen can do a Freedom of Information Act request to the city. Was that what we want our citizens to have to do to find out what you're really doing? I'm sorry, but this smacks of some sort of last minute deal, which of course it is. Thank you.
At this time, we will open it up to the Zoom participants. Hearing no public comment, we will move on. We have a proclamation for Black History Month and also recognizing the NAACP. This will be up in City Hall, all for the month of February. And I do know that the NAACP is also bringing in items to be displayed outside the mayor's office for the month of February for Black History Month. Whereas the NAACP has led the struggle for freedom and equality for all Americans for over 90 years. And whereas, as a result of the efforts of the NAACP, the barriers which have long divided people along racial and religious lines have been torn down. And whereas, as a result of efforts of the NAACP, the city of Adrian has become a better place for all of its citizens to work, study, learn, and live. Now, therefore, I, Angela Sword Heath, Mayor of the City of Adrian, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2025 as Black History Month and call upon all people of goodwill and lovers of justice to join me in reaffirming our support of the Lenawee County chapter and the nation's oldest and largest civil rights organization, the NAACP. Moving on, may I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion from Commissioner Castleberry with a second from Commissioner Banky. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Banky,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss,
Yes.
and Mayor Heath.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving on to the consent agenda. May I get a motion to adopt the consent agenda? So moved.
Support.
We have a motion from Commissioner Roberts with the second from Commissioner Gauss. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Banky.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving on to the regular agenda under ordinances. Ordinance number 25-001 is a first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 18, Division 3 of the Adrian City Code by adding a new section 18-63 to amend the Downtown Development Plan and Tax Increment Financing Plan for the Downtown Development Authority. This is a first reading only, and we will have the hearing next week, our next meeting for that, and have the second reading at that time. Under resolutions, Resolution R 25-006 is from the City Commission. It is a resolution to accept the retirement of the city administrator and approve a retirement agreement. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion from Commissioner Castleberry and a second from Commissioner Miller. Are there any commissioner comments or discussion on this? So we have a motion from Commissioner Castleberry with a second from Commissioner Miller. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss,
No.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Banky,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution R 25-007 is from the City Commission. It is a resolution to appoint Vincent Emmerich as acting city administrator. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved. Support.
Are there any commissioner comments or discussion on this?
I guess one question that we could ask Vince, city administrator and chief of police are big jobs in and of themselves. I think you wear expense manage those roles as we go forward.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Commissioner. It's a big task. Started this morning by delegating some of those duties that I normally do to my deputy chief, Larry Van Alstine. We sort of team up on what we do at the police department, which enables me to have a little time to come over to City Hall. So I will split time between the two roles. This will be my fourth sub-in as administrator, so it's not as daunting as it once was. We have great cooperation with department heads. Some projects that can be slowed down are slowed down until a regular full-time administrator can be appointed. But it does help me to accomplish all those things until someone is found.
Thank you.
We have a motion from Commissioner Banky with a second from Commissioner Gauss. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Banky,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution R 25-008 is from the City Commission. It is a resolution to approve an employment agreement with Vincent Emmerich for service as acting city administrator and chief of police. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Support.
Are there any commissioner comments or discussion on this resolution? We have a motion from Commissioner Castleberry with a second from Commissioner Miller. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Banky,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz.
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving on to public comment. This is open. It's not necessarily for things that need to be on the, that are on the agenda. It can be anything that you have concerns about and want to talk about. there will be a 3-minute time limit, just to reiterate that, and that you need to state your name and place of residence. We will begin inside the city chambers first, and then we will open it up to Zoom participants when we have exhausted all public comment inside the chambers. We'll begin now.
Hi, Gail Dunaway, City of Adrian. I first of all would like to thank the Adrian Police Department for responding to a welfare check on a neighbor. They were very kind. It seems like policing now is kind of morphing into counseling and social work and such, but they were very kind to this individual, and hopefully things will get resolved with her and her family. Secondly, there is a property, and there always is one of these properties. I was on the phone with Leslie Love last Monday. We had on Comstock Street, I believe the address, because it's not even on the house anymore, 214. It's kind of a perforated house. There was an explosion as described by one of the residents, and I mean, it scared the bejeebies out of her. 2 rescue squads and a small fire truck were there. The guys were having a great old time cutting holes into the roof and the little ad on the back. This is a house that's been empty for a long time, and we're long time meaning like decades. It's on Comstock Street. What would AJ think? So Leslie was already taking bids as we were talking. So I would hope that even if we have an interim administrator, that this would not be delayed any further, because who knows what got in there, because all the utilities are supposed to be disconnected. So what caused this explosion, I haven't a clue. Check with the fire department, but really, this is a safety issue. There's only 25.5 feet between the house on the north side and only 17 feet on the house on the south side. So we don't have spacious lawns to separate us. So please, please, this is a health and safety issue. Thank you.
Don Taylor, resident of the City of Adrian. I'll be nice this time, okay? I want to share some thoughts on the fee house situation. I think this is an opportunity to advocate for historic preservation and a viable tourism potential. I've been involved in some historic buildings downtown. This is a gem. I know it's a little bit out of touch perhaps, but Commissioner Roberts said the city does not want to own it. I think it's a bit too early to take that position, but I appreciate what you said. Although it would probably make it a great bed and breakfast, to not look at the opportunities to create a historic showcase with great ties to our city's history, I think would be a mistake. I urge you to consider developing a sustainable use plan for the property and find a managing partner. I know you've talked about this. Consider this as another visitor destination close to downtown and the tourism and economic impact we might benefit from this. I would suggest that you consider reaching out to Visit Lenawee for their thoughts on this. They have the marketing and promotional experience and probably could develop a specific volunteer program and management plan. I know when they look at a property like this, they see visitors, they stay in hotel rooms, they go to bars and restaurants. I don't need to tell you the rest, okay? Obviously, this requires significant financial resources, but I urge you to think big. With ties to the early years of Adrian, think of this as our potential Monticello. What a destination it would be.
Sue All's house resident. I just want to comment on the dome, situation and all. It was agreed when our committee of neighborhood members came that there would be some sort of blockade put up with a sign posting that traffic was only to be construction vehicles. And we know that that's not being followed. We've seen SUVs and, going back there like for softball or whatever it is. And, whatever, it is what it is, I guess. But the sign blows down with strong wind. So, a couple neighbors, I think, have put it up at different times. And it might seem trivial, but really we believed after meeting with Mr. Elliott that that was going to be just blocked off. And I have heard that it's come up again. So Mayor Heath talked with me before the meeting, but I just wanted to publicly state that people are still using that drive, and it's a mess back there. I don't really even know why they have to go back there to get to that facility, but it feels to me like the college should probably be trying to abide by that. And, if they're renting the space out to softball teams or whatever, that there would be maybe some better coordination with that as we get closer to it being inflated. So, thank you.
Good evening, Tim Alshouse, Adrian resident. I'd just like to briefly double down on what Mr. Taylor said in his opening comment before your vote, and that's regards to the retirement deal that was just approved, that the transparency or lack thereof, any details made to any of us citizens as to what you all worked out with Mr. Elliott. One of my last times here is my wife just brought up the Adrian College Dome in between the Planning Commission and the City Commission. I asked that this council bring more transparency to citizens. And to me, that was not quite a year ago, but here we are in another deal where citizens are in the dark wondering. I mean, I've zoomed into a number of meetings. I have never heard Mr. Elliott say anything about retirement. 2 weeks ago or the month ago, there was a conflict between you and Mr. Elliott, this board, this commission, over closed session meeting. Now we hear he's retired and there's a deal. It seems like there would have been a contract, that this would not have been a big deal. Here's your retirement, a set of golf clubs. Here's your membership to a local club. Happy retirement. If there's some sort of golden parachute attached to this, was this part of his contract? And if not, what's it going to take? A FOIA for either any of us citizens to see what exactly took for him to walk out the door? It just seems a little undercover. Thank you.
I'm going to open it up to the Zoom participants for public comment, and then I am going to address that because there is a reasoning for why it is not my public knowledge, but I will address that. But let's wait until after we do public comment for the Zoom participants. We will open it up now.
Hello.
Hello, please state
Okay.
your name and place of residence.
Thank you. This is Jim Berryman, City of Adrian. I just wanted to say that it's a shame that Elliott felt the sudden need to retire. I think he's dedicated a lot of time and energy to make good things happen in the city of Adrian. And if there was any conflict between the mayor or commissioners with Mr. Elliott, that professionally that would have been done by individual meetings. Elliott. I think all of the city administrators we've had over the last 8 years, average 2 years per administrator, does not look good for the city of Adrian. So let me end on a positive note that Mr. Elliott, Greg, who I know well, had the opportunity to work with, not always saw eye to eye, but certainly felt that he was fair, and that he always had the best interest of the city at heart. You now have a task of asking someone else to come into that position. With the past history the commission has had, recent past history, individuals are going to give it a second look. I firmly wish each and every one of you, when you deliberate on the next administrator, whether it be a he or she, that you understand that you're asking that individual to move to Adrian, leave their current location, buy a new home, and resettle their family in this area. With that comes some responsibility that you owe that individual. A little bit of respect, professional respect, that they asked for that commitment, but you've made that commitment to them. And far too often in the recent past, we've felt it too easy to walk away from a commitment to an administrator, especially when I think, my personal opinion, that they have been doing an outstanding job. There is no, trying to think of the best words to use, but there is no great push by the city of Adrian to remove or have the retirement of the current administrator. There are many other things that are in the top 10 agenda.
Mr. Berryman, your time is up.
I appreciate that.
Your time is up. Thank you. Thank you. Hearing no more public comment, we will begin commissioner comments. I'm just going to start it off by just saying that both the contracts, both the retirement contract agreement and Vince's for the acting interim were both under attorney-client privilege until voted in, which they were just now voted in. So they will no longer fall under that, but that is why they couldn't be released. So I'm just putting that out there. It is something, obviously, as already was mentioned, that can be FOIA'd. I have talked to the media already. I did bring some copies. I don't have tons of them. I was blowing up my printer, but I have several copies of it so that if it was approved and voted on tonight, that I would be able to hand out for you to see. So just wanted to let you know that. If I run out of copies, I'm sorry, but I am giving the media first dibs on it because I knew that they would be asking, and I'm trying to avoid Michelle Dewey having to deal with a lot of FOIAs tomorrow, which she probably will be anyways, but we were trying to avoid it a little bit for her. But that is the reasoning why it is under attorney-client privilege until it was voted in tonight. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
a few things. We have First Fridays this weekend coming up on Friday, so please come downtown. There are also several other events going on downtown. So please make sure you're on the Facebook page for Downtown Adrian for Fridays. This Friday, the following Saturday, and I can't think of the third event coming up, but maybe Jake can elaborate on that. I do have bicentennial donation sponsorship information here. If there's anyone here who wasn't here the last meeting that'd be interested in taking any to either for personal or for any businesses, you're welcome to come grab some. Also wanted to remind you for the bicentennial, the Adrian District Library has the bibliograph available up and running now. So if there are any historical pictures, letters, poems, anything like that, that are of historical significance, please start sending those into the website to be curated and sorted. And then once all of that is collected, a thumb drive of all of that information will be put in the time capsule in July. So we are also starting to work on what's going to be put into the time capsule. So that's a big task. And just if you have any, great ideas, please let me know. We've got a few ideas so far. But yeah, always open for ideas for what should go in the next time capsule to hopefully be opened in the next 50 years. So, thank you.
Madam Mayor, just one comment. Over the last couple weeks, I've received several phone calls from property owners downtown related to the letter they received from the DDA. And I understand that that's the specific legalese that we need to share with them about what the TIF is and when the public hearing is. I would think that it would go a long way to have a FAQ on the back as to what does this really mean? Because when I was their FAQ and answered their questions as to what it really meant, their understanding and appreciation of that was noted. So if there's an email list or something like that that you guys have, maybe just a few bullet points as to what this hearing's about and the impact that it has. Thank you.
May I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.